Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wednesday Call Live. Live from Alliance headquarters in Burlington, North Carolina. This week's special guest, the lead performance team. Hosted by Andy Albright. Brought to you by AMP Studios in front of a live studio audience. Featuring in-depth training and the latest Alliance news. Now, let's hear it for our host, our President and CEO, Andy Albright.
So, y'all come over here. Lead performance team. This is a highlight right here. Lead performance team. We are getting ready to kick this show off this week while the agency managers are in Steamboat. I don't know how we're pulling this off. We're pulling this off. We're in two places at once. You going to be in Steamboat?
I'm going to be in Steamboat.
Who else is going to be in Steamboat? You going to be in Steamboat?
Yes, sir.
All right, you going to be in Steamboat?
No, sir.
You going to be here?
I'll be here.
You going to be here?
I'll be here.
You'll be here. Okay. We are now running a contest for $100,000 cash. The top 10 personal producers are going to get $10,000 each. There are some agency managers who are top producers. They're losing ground this week because they're in Steamboat. You need to pick up ground. Let me tell you one of the secrets of the top producers. They buy a lot of leads so they can find people to sell insurance to. So if you're going to take advantage of this time, I highly recommend you get in touch with Lead Performance Team. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves, make sure they know how to get in touch with everybody, and let's get this thing rocking while the agency managers are in Steamboat. Clay, talk to them, baby. Tell them about the Lead Performance Team.
Thank you, Andy. My name is Clay Murtis. I have been with the Alliance for 3 years now. I am a manager of the Lead Performance Team. I started in President's Club where I learned to sell, I learned to recruit, and it was that skill with the sales and that experience with it that Andy was like, hey, this is a natural fit for you. You know how the leads work. You've called them. You have a GMR. It makes sense that you're going to be helping people with their business as well. So he's put me in a position with an incredible team that you're going to get to meet here in a moment. And our sole job and our sole goal is to help you make more money by helping you get more leads and take advantage of the Alliance advantage. So this is massive. This is massive, Terry. I need you to write this down. This is our booking link, okay? So we are staying crazy busy, and mainly because Andy's doing crazy things with some of these contests, with the opportunity you have to make some money. So this booking site is lpt.simplybook.me. So what that is that is a booking link to our calendar. That is the best way to get on somebody's calendar, best way to get in touch with one of the LPT members so that you can take advantage of one of Andy's lead programs. So some of those lead programs are things like GMRs, things like big instant purchases. We got this thing called a power move. So if you want to learn more about these programs, if you are trying to go after those 10 stacks that Andy has put on the table, and he's just asking you, he's saying, come on and get it. If you're looking to do that, you need to get in contact with us because we're going to help you, put you in a position to win. So get to know the people in the lead performance team before you need them. So I want to introduce this incredible team we have here at the corporate office. And first, I want to introduce a really good friend of mine. He is going to be in Steamboat. So if you're looking to book his calendar right now, it's blocked out because he's in Steamboat. But he will be there, be available next week. His name is Dustin Perkins.
What's up, y'all? How's everybody doing? Doing all right? I am Dustin Perkins. I've been with the Alliance now for 2 years with the leads team. It's been awesome. My background is in fitness. I was a personal trainer with the National Academy of Sports Medicine, did that for 5 or 6 years. I moved into sales where I was a regional sales manager for that franchise at Workout Anytime. I just felt stagnant. I wasn't moving. I wasn't growing as fast as I wanted to, and I got the wonderful opportunity to come out here and meet Andy, meet Clay, Robbie, and it's been amazing ever since. I can't complain. It's very grateful.
That's right.
I'm going to introduce Ashlyn.
Hey y'all, my name is Ashlyn Davis. I have been with the Alliance now for a little over 2 years. I started off in the ABTF and got the wonderful opportunity to move over to the lead performance team. My background, I graduated from the Aveda Institute with a license in cosmetology. Before I worked here, I did do hair for a little bit, and I worked at a Mercedes dealership. It was terrible. I hated it. I sat at a desk every single day, and I could hardly talk to anybody. So when I got the opportunity to come here for an interview, everybody was like off their rocker crazy. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. I have to be here. So I'm grateful to be here. Our phones have been blowing up off the hook. I can hardly even take my headset off without somebody else calling us. So make sure you book our book on our calendar so we can help you do a power move, set up GMRs, and get some leads. I'm going to now introduce Brianna.
Hey everybody, my name is Brianna Wallace. I have been with the Alliance for 6 years now. I started out in the help desk, helping people with contracting or anything technical that you needed help with. I got the opportunity about 3 years ago to move over to the lead performance team. I'm married. I have a 2-year-old who's going on 22, and so that's been interesting. But yeah, she's great, and you might start to see a little bit less of me, but that's okay because I'm going to be working with the mail house more, so getting more leads, more faster, more better, all of that stuff. So getting more, that's right. So getting more behind the scenes, more of the back end data type stuff, more analytical type stuff like that. But I'm still available on the calendar, so book a time with me whenever you need me.
Thank you, Brianna. And there is one member of the lead performance team that is not here today. That is Cadence Dingler. She is brand new with us. She's been here for about 2 weeks. So get to know Cadence. She's going to be on fire. She is awesome. Great girl. So get to know her as well. So we got crazy things coming, Andy. We are just fired up about everything that is going on, all the programs you're investing in, and we encourage you to do the same. Invest in your business like Andy's investing in his, trying to make this thing huge, baby.
All right, guys. Well, those of you that are looking in, we wish you were here in Steamboat. We're going to do another agency manager free trip next year. And so the way these Circle of Excellence work, Circle of Champions, Circle of Excellence, the way this works is you got to hit agency manager. You got to be an agency manager 2 months in a row. Okay, so you got all the requirements. We will pay for a second trip. So we're in the midst of qualifying for Paris and Switzerland. This is an additional trip. And the way these work, you get there, you do transportation, and then everything's taken care of. These are awesome training, fun, dinners. We have a blast on this trip. So we're having a good time. We know you're trying to earn your way up next time. So for this show, my intentions, we have North Carolina State Wolfpack head coach Dave Dorn did a talk with our men at the men's leadership. So the ladies didn't get a chance to see it, and a lot of the men loved it so much they said, we want to see it again. So let me show you, if you guys will kind of move over. We have been working on this last week. This is the house of the Alliance. This is the steps to success. This is the pillars that hold us up, and this is the ideals that we represent. So this talk coming up by Dave Dorn, Coach Dave Dorn, he talks about what the Wolfpack team is built on and how it works, and it relates so much to who we are. Those guys are over there crashing heads, getting points, playing defense, trying their best to win. The Alliance is over here writing premium. We're busting poverty right in the nose. We're messing up loneliness. We're messing up complacency. I mean, we're attacking it, baby. Those stuff's going to feel us 3 days after. You with me? Like we're going to hit this thing. So enjoy this talk by Coach Dave Dorn. Take notes. Get back to work. Get back to the lead performance team. Let's kill this thing. We love y'all. We wish you were here. See you later. Check out Dave Dorn. Here he goes. Woo! The first time that Dave Dorn walked into Wendell H. Murphy Football Center on December 1st, 2012, he saw the words from Rudyard Kipling's poem, Law of the Jungle, on the wall outside the Wolfpack locker room. The phrase immediately resonated with the young coach, and by the time he met with his new team for the first time, he had taken the meaning of those words and compacted it into a simple phrase that would become the blueprint by which his teams would operate. One pack, one goal. Dorn's one goal for the Wolfpack: to become a championship team. He makes no bones about his desire for his team to compete for a championship on a conference and a national level. He believed then and is even more sure now that the only way to play at championship level is to work hard together to get there. He knows that it isn't an overnight process and is committed to doing it the right way. Although he was one of the youngest coaches in the nation when he was named the 34th head coach of North Carolina State history, Dorn brought 2 decades of experience into the position. His proven process has already paid off in results. Dorn has guided the Wolfpack to back-to-back bowl games and has coached bowl-eligible teams in 11 of his 14 years in Division I. In his 3 years, 67 members of the Wolfpack football squad have earned their degrees. Numerous kids are playing in the NFL today. I have enjoyed getting to know him. I have loved getting to know him. Some of the favorite stuff about him for me is to see his kids pointing up and see how they're growing as adults, not just football players, that they're prepared for more things in life, not just playing football. And to see how he handles his children, and to see him hugging on Sarah after his last championship. We're sitting there in a suite. He's one of the guys. I know he ain't one of the guys. He is a standout in America, and I love him. Can you help me give an Alliance welcome? Coach Dave Dorn of the Wolfpack.
How's everybody doing? Fired up. I like it. Well, I first just want to say thanks to Andy for the invite and the opportunity to just share some of the things that I believe in that have got me to where I am, and if you just broke me down, what I'm going to talk to you about today is who I am and how I got there. But, you know, when you're a head football coach, you meet a lot of people. You meet a lot of people that have a lot of things, a lot of people that have either inherited things or made things on their own, created a lifestyle. And over the last 5 years now, I've been able to meet a lot of great people that are affiliated with North Carolina State, and Andy's one of them. And we've become friends, and I appreciate the true friends you have in this profession. Because in college athletics, some of those friends disappear when you lose a game. And you really find out who's there. And Andy's been there with me, and I appreciate that. And it says a lot about your loyalty as a man. And to me, that's, as a leader, one of the most important things you have to not just have kind of what you talk about, but you got to prove it. And people won't work hard for you if you're not that type of person. So everybody in this room, I know that you appreciate and respect Andy, but I can tell you as a leader of men, which I am, he has that quality, and that's the biggest thing that drew me to him, and thank you for that and who you are as a man and what you do. I want to, before I get into this presentation, I didn't put this in there, but I want to read something to you that defines what the word leader means to me, and I can repeat it if you need me to. But I think you have to define things in your life. A leader is someone who is going someplace and taking people with him. A catalyst for elite performance who enables people to achieve things they wouldn't achieve on their own. Someone who earns trust, sets a clear standard, and then equips and inspires people to meet that standard. And I think that's the biggest thing, you know, that I try to do. We really empower our football players. And I tell them trust is earned and trust is lost daily. It's not something that just happens, and it's not something when you lose that trust is going to come back to you quickly. But I truly believe that as a leader of a team, you're only as good as the people that you surround yourself with. And for me, I surround myself with 18 to 22-year-old kids trying to become men that in a lot of times and places they weren't raised the same way as us. Some of them were entitled, some of them didn't have leadership in their homes. And so I inherit them, sometimes broken, sometimes not, and I got to get them all to want to do it the same way. And I have to surround myself with a team of coaches, a team of strength coaches, a team of nutritionists, a team of trainers, a team of academic support people, sports psychologists, team chaplain, recruiting staff. Lots of people work underneath me, and they have to all drink the same Kool-Aid. You know, and we like how it tastes at NC State. That's right. And that stuff's red as hell. I'm going to tell you that right now. All right, so I'm going to get into this. And, guys, this is interactive. Please stop me, ask questions, and let me know if there's anything I can repeat or redo. I know in the instructions I received, I was told to talk about lead no matter what. And I think that's the one thing I learned from Coach Alvarez, who was our athletic director at Wisconsin when I was the defensive coordinator there. He wrote a great book, but one of the things he talked about was never flinch. And a lot of what I'm going to discuss with you today is just how to handle adversity. I think true leaders are the ones that show up when things aren't good. It's easy to be the guy when everything's rolling smooth. And things were not rolling smooth at NC State when I got here. I'm just going to tell you all, 5 years ago, it was a mess. And there was 30-plus kids under a 2.0. There was a lot of off-the-field issues. There wasn't a lot of NFL talent. At the time, Duke and North Carolina were rolling in the state. And we flipped that around. And so now, you know, I can stand here in front of you and talk about 20 seniors that just finished their 5th year with us, or 4th year. A lot of them are going to be in the NFL. We're going to have 6 to 10 players drafted. And, yeah, that's what it's about, you know, and these kids are going to graduate from NC State. A lot of them already have. And they're leader of men, all of them. They're ready to take on the world. So I'm proud of those guys for that. And just want to get into a few things that have impacted me. And I know I just went through Andy's book collection over there in the next room. And you need to add these 2 books. I couldn't find them. So maybe they were in there and I didn't see them. I read this book this year. It's called Legacy. It's about the New Zealand All Blacks rugby team, if anyone watches rugby. But they're the standard of rugby in the world. And it's about their culture. You don't have to like rugby. You don't have to watch rugby to enjoy this book. But it's one of those books you pick up and you won't put it down until you're done reading it. And I'm just going to read you a couple things that stood out to me that I want to share with you. First one's a quote that's in the book from George Bernard Shaw, and this is why I stayed at NC State. I came to NC State, yes, to win a championship, but more than that, my personal goal was to become the winningest coach in NC State history. Okay, and that's why I came to NC State. I looked at it as a program that had a lot of players in the NFL, that had won a lot of games and been to a lot of bowls, but hasn't achieved consistently at an elite level for a long period of time. And I wanted to be the coach that could do that. And so I stand here now 39 games short of being that guy, and God willing, I'll be here long enough to do that, okay? But that's my goal. And I could have gone to a lot of other schools and tried to be the next guy that was like him that won a championship. I wanted to establish a legacy at NC State that my children could be proud of, okay? And so life is no brief candle to me. It is a sort of splendid torch which I have got a hold of for the moment, and I want to make it burn as brightly as possible before handing it to the next future generations. The true leader is called to leave the jersey, the football jersey, in a better place than when he was handed it. And that's what we talk to our players about. You put on a football jersey that says NC State on the front, it has your last name on the back. Okay, and every former player watches you play in that number. Bradley Chubb's a great example. I'm going to tell you, I don't know who will get to wear number 9 again, but when I put number 9 on him, that was Mario's number, who's probably the greatest defensive lineman to ever play at NC State until now, I told Bradley, you got big shoes, man. And I had him talk to Mario on the phone, and all Mario said is, please represent that number. And Bradley did that. And whoever gets to put it on again, it's Mario Williams and now Bradley Chubb, who's going to be picked in the first 5 picks of the NFL draft because of what he did. And he left the number in a better place. Whoever puts on number 1, Jalen Samuels' number. Whoever puts on number 98, B.J. Hill's number. Those things our players understand. If I'm wearing that number, I got to represent that number because of the body of work that that player put into it. Okay? And it's no different for you. You know, whatever position you sit in right now in your business, I know that you want to elevate yourself. Well, who's going to replace you into that spot? Well, he should have big shoes to fill if you do it right. Okay? Our mission statement, and I think everybody, Andy mentioned it, one pack, one goal. You know, for me, I already mentioned how many different people are involved in our process. It's a united mission to win a championship. The first day that I was on the job at NC State, I met with the players, and then I went to the team auditorium and I asked them to collect everybody in the Murphy Center, from the cooks to the janitors, any single person that could come in contact with a recruit or a player. I wanted to meet with them. And that was the first thing I told them. I said, I'm going to win a championship at NC State, and if you're not drinking the Kool-Aid, you're not going to have a job. Okay? Because if I find out one of our players or one of our recruits talks to any of you and you're not representing my standard for this program, then you're not with me. And I want you with me. So show me that you belong in the room. And some people stayed, some people left. But that's the worst thing that can happen in your business. It's the worst thing that can happen on your team, is that you have 100 people, 200 people, and 1% or 2% or 3% of them are infecting it. They're infecting it. Okay? And misery loves company. So those 2 or 3 people that aren't getting what they want because they make excuses are now sitting together in their little pity party. Okay? I don't have time for that. And so I think, you know, being a leader, and I tell our players this, it's not always about being nice. It's about doing the right thing. All right? And it's making sure people live up to the standard, because my children and my wife and my coach's children and my coach's wives and my secretary's husband and all the things that go into it depend on everybody doing it for each other. Okay? Ego destroys group progress. It does. And you have to be confident. You have to be. But everybody's ideas are important. And it doesn't mean you can listen to everybody's ideas all the time, because you got things going on. All right? But when somebody needs to express that to you, you have to be where your feet are, and you have to stop, and you have to listen. Doesn't mean you're going to do it. But if your team knows that you care about their ideas, then you can grow as a team. Okay? And I think that's really important. I tell our coaches that all the time. Yes, I am the head coach. Yes, I do sit at the head of the table, but your ideas are going to make me better. And you can't be afraid to bring those to me. And I think as somebody underneath somebody that you might be intimidated by at times, you have to find the right way to communicate with that person, whether it's leaving him a note, sending him a text or an email, knocking on his door. Hey, what would be a good time for me to talk with you one-on-one? I have an idea that you might be interested in. Because sometimes it's not in front of people that he wants to hear that idea. Okay? But a lot of people in my profession let their egos get in the way of progress. A lot of them do. And I've seen it. I've seen it kill careers. And with our players, it's no different. You know, I say this to my coaches and I say this to my players, and I'll say this to you. We're blessed to be here. Everybody sitting in this room is in here today to get better. How many people are out there right now that have no direction in their life? They're going the wrong direction in their life. They have no purpose in their life. Just don't forget how lucky you are to be sitting in this room. And don't forget what you went through to be sitting in this room. Okay? I don't forget when I first started coaching, okay, and my rent was $400 a month and my paycheck was $390 a month, all right, I don't forget that. I had $10 to eat on. And so I had to figure out how to eat. So I went and got a job at a Mexican restaurant at night, and I cooked. And then I'd take a box to go and shove a bunch of food in it and bring it home. I make a mean-ass chimichanga, let me tell you. All right? But that's what I had to do because I wanted to coach. All right? And I think a lot of people in the jobs they're in are worried about the next job instead of the job they have. You know, really important you guys understand that. You don't get anywhere without taking care of where you're at first. Doesn't mean you don't think about it. Doesn't mean you don't have goals. But you're not going to get those goals if you don't handle your business where you're at. Daily improvement, I think, is the biggest thing that I would tell you that we promote in our program. All right? And I'm just going to do it mathematically for you. And we challenge our players to improve one thing a day. We call it our one more. What is your one more? What does that mean? That means when I watch film today and I watch that practice and I see that I false stepped or I had poor eye discipline or my hands weren't in the right place or I didn't finish the way I need to finish. All right, well, what's your one more tomorrow? Coach, tomorrow I'm going to make sure my first step is correct. I'm not going to false step. All right, well, tomorrow when I watch the film, that needs to be off the film. He just got 1% better. So what does that mean? All right, that means if I have 100 players and every one of them has a one more and they accomplish that goal that day, then I'm 100% better as a football team in one day. That's the improvement. One player, 1%, 100 players, 100% improvement. So what does that mean? Well, that means how many of them didn't do it. So if only 50 of my guys did it, then I'm only 50% better the next day. And it's that incremental growth, and that's the one thing I'll tell you at NC State. We develop players better than anybody in the country. We do. We had 11 guys on watch lists for all these big-time awards this year, all right, and 9 of those 11 guys were 3-star recruits that didn't have a lot going on. Well, they're now NFL guys because we develop them and we challenge them to improve daily. We don't have our schedule on the wall that shows our 12 games that we play. We don't care about that. We care about today, reflecting on that day, and improving tomorrow. And that's what we're going to do. And the win today ownership, this is the things that we're going to say to the guys. No looking ahead allowed. Okay? Yeah, we want to win a championship, but we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the process of getting there. That's the end goal. Okay? We're going to focus on winning the day that we have. So did you or didn't you, when you go to bed, win the day? Or did you waste it? We will not allow outside influences into our mission. There's a lot of third parties in college football. Okay? There's former high school coaches, or there's agents, or there's social media that think they know better. And the kids have to really understand that the only pathway to success, just like here, is within the walls of your leadership. The next day, so tomorrow, I'm going to study what happened yesterday. It was a great day. I killed it. Why did that happen? Did you get enough sleep? Were you hydrated? Why were you successful? Let's repeat that process then. All right, so what's our next one more? And let's do that again. Okay? And reflect on the body of work. Learn, own, accept, and then refocus on the new day. There's a great book out called Extreme Ownership. You may or may not have read it. But one of the things in that book, it talks about you have to own what you did or didn't do. And you have to accept it as a man. And then you have to say to yourself, I really like what happened right there, so I'm going to do that again. Or, I failed. How am I going to learn from that failure and make sure it doesn't happen again? Okay? Always, always, always searching for our personal best. One more. Okay? And I think you all have to ask yourself that question. What does your best look like? Do you know? You shouldn't. Because nobody in here is their best. You know what you look like. You know what the best so far looks like for you, but you're not there yet. Because you either grow or you plateau. That's it. Okay? That's it. Standards. What are the standards of your business? So we define it. When I was a young kid, I was in California. My dad lives out there. John Wooden was the basketball coach at UCLA. I think I was I don't know, second grade maybe, and I went to his basketball camp. You know, John Wooden's got his pyramid. Everybody knows that. And I got a picture of me with John Wooden. Pretty cool. And I've always looked up to John Wooden. I've read all of his books, winningest basketball coach of all time. Okay? And the thing that he did is he defined who he was as a coach. He defined who he was as a man. He defined who he was as a leader. And we've done that with our program. And it's taken time to get there. But when you start, the foundation of our house is our mission statement, one pack, one goal. You see that at the bottom of our building. That's our foundation. You can't build a great house without a great foundation. What holds up our house are our core values, and I'll get into those here in a second. There's 12 of them because we play 12 regular season games. Each week of the season, we reflect on one of those core values. The roof of our house, which keeps us dry and safe, are our standards. No underachievement allowed is the first standard. We will not tolerate underachievement in our program. We'll not tolerate it. If you're an A student, I want A's. If you're an A student that gets a C, that's underachieving. If you run a 4.5, run a 4.5 every time. Don't run a 4.5 and then run a 4.8 because you're tired or you're lazy. Don't beat ourselves. In football, probably the same in business, but more games are lost than they are won. They are. Okay? Don't beat yourself. Number 3, don't make excuses and don't let other people make them for you. Number 4, and I know Andy does a great job in this, invest in each other. Number 5, control the controllables. There's certain things that are going to happen today to you that are out of your control. You have no way of changing that from happening. How are you going to respond? For us, referee could make a bad call. Happens a lot in the ACC. Okay? I'm not going to change that call, so I got to deal with it. It's just how it works. Okay? Somebody may pass away in your family. You may have a great day planned. The whole day just got blown up. Just lost one of my top employees. I got to go find a new guy. How are you going to respond? You'll notice that none of those things on our roof have anything to do with talent. Okay? It's attitude. The front door of our building says hard, tough, together. That's our identity. We play hard, we play tough, we play together. That's what we are. If you watch NC State play football, you're going to see guys playing hard. We're going to be physical now. Win or lose, we're going to hit people in the mouth. We play on Saturday, they're going to feel our ass on Sunday and Monday. I'm just going to tell you that right now. That's how we play football. Some people talk about this, that, and the other. We talk about playing hard, playing tough, mentally and physically, and playing together. So our program is defined. You can walk in our building, the Murphy Center, and you're going to find this all over the building. You could walk up to a player and ask him, what's your identity? He'll tell you HTT, hard, tough, together. They know it. Another book that I want to impress on you guys, read this year. You may or may not have read it. It's a great book. Again, I don't know if that's in there or not, Andy. I couldn't find it. It's The Obstacle in the Path Becomes the Path is one of the quotes from the book. And when I read that, it stopped me in my tracks. Again, it goes back to adversity. But for me, a year ago, my 4th season, we were 4-1. We're playing at Clemson. We played our asses off. Took the ball down to the 19-yard line, 3 seconds left on the clock, centered it up, kicked a game-winning field goal to beat the #1 team in the country in their stadium, and we missed. Lost in overtime. Okay? And it was crushing to our program. We lost 4 of the next games. And a lot of people had written us off. Okay? But we found a way to rally as a group amidst all the negativity that was going on and win the next 3 of our last 4 games, beat our rival and win our bowl game, and get great momentum going into our offseason. A lot of our players that could have turned pro decided to all come back. Bradley Chubb, B.J. Hill, Justin Jones, Contavious Street, Jalen Samuels, because they wanted to continue the process. They wanted the obstacle, all right, to get out of our way. We lost to Florida State same year. Dropped an interception in the end zone, would have won the game. Fast forward, we go into the season this year, and I didn't have a contract extension, so basically I was coaching for my job the whole year. All right? Well, we beat Louisville at home when they were in the top 10. We went to Florida State and won when they were in the top 10. And now we're 5-0 in the ACC. And we're on a roll. All right, we win 9 games. That's been done 10 times in NC State. We won 6 games in the ACC. Hadn't happened in 23 years. And we lost 2 games in the final seconds. We could have been an 11-win team with 2 more plays. All right, but what we went through as a football team made us into who we were this year. And nobody pointed fingers. Nobody got scared. Nobody flinched. The obstacle in the path became the path. We just kept grinding. And this book right here, I'm just going to tell you, it's a great book. It's a great book. G.S.D. All right? G.S.D. stands for Get Shit Done. Excuse my language. You can say get stuff done if you don't like 4-letter words, but as coaches, sometimes we do choose to use them. All right? And it's a way of life. All right? And to me, it's something that needs to be in the DNA of people you work with. If I have to say to you, hey, I need this done, it's really important. I want the 3rd down report. I need it by 7 p.m. I want to look at all the different things they do in their protections so that we can devise a few blitzes for 3rd down. Well, if it's 7 and I don't have it, he doesn't have G.S.D. If we say to our players, hey guys, we're going to do this, this, and this week, here's why we're doing it, need you guys to be ready, need you to be focused, and come in here and get it done, they're going to get it done. They understand that there's certain things that are required out of them, and they're going to have G.S.D. in their DNA. Players that don't possess that don't stay in our program very long. They just can't do it. If we have to beg you to want to be great, get the hell out of our building. Okay? That's how it works. And it's who we have to be. And not only do we have to be like that, we have to love being like that. Like, work isn't work. I'm just going to tell you. You're lucky to have a job. You should love what you do or find something else. With football, you have to love ball. And with football comes a lot of work. Hot, sweaty, greasy, bloody work. And I love it. And so do our guys. And it's taken time to create that culture. Grit. A great word. A great word. What's it mean? Learn how to deny yourself quitting. I heard one of your speakers in here talking about how many calls does it take. Exactly. As many as it takes. As many as it takes. And when things aren't going your way, what are you going to do? You just work. You stay positive and you keep working and you find a better way to do it so that it works better. Okay? You have to teach your body and your mind, and even though you're not a physical athlete in your job in here, you're mentally grinding a lot in the jobs you guys have. And that wears your body out. But you have to convince yourself that no matter what, you're going to keep working. No matter what. Body language. Big, big, big deal in leadership. You can probably walk in your office as a leader and look at somebody that works for you and know what kind of day that guy's going to have. Okay? And sometimes you got to fake it. I've been there now. You come in the locker room and those guys are down. And I might be down too, but I can't look like it. I got to look like I'm about to have the best damn day of my life. And that's your body language. We say that to our kids all the time. You drop a pass, what do? You put your head down. That's bad body language. Can't do it. You get beat for a touchdown as a DB. The most important play is the next play. And we have to brainwash guys into that, because I'm going to tell you, when you're a football player or a football coach and you're playing in front of however many thousand, 50 to 100,000 people, depending on the stadium, plus the million people watching you, plus the guys that are on social media that are ripping your ass all over the country, all right? The next play is the most important play. You drop a pick, the next time intercept it and take it to the house and fix it. You throw a pick, the next play, throw a touchdown. That's how it's got to work. If I make a bad play call as a coach, I got to make up for it. Got to make up for it. But if I'm the opponent, and we do this all the time, when our offense is rolling and I see their defensive kids start to put their hands on their hips and start leaning forward, I get crazy on the sideline. Look at their body language. You got them. And then we roll it up. And that's how it works. And when we train, I'm just going to tell you this, when we train our guys, they're not allowed to put their hands on their hips. They're not allowed to cross their legs. They're not allowed to put their hands behind their heads. We're going to train ourselves to not look tired. That's how we train. And if they look tired, we're going to run them more. That's how we do it. If I turn around and see a guy like this, he's running more. Because he's got to learn how to push through that moment. Because I never want our opponent's coach to look at our field and say they're tired. They might beat us, but it's not going to be because we're mentally weak. The body can do anything the mind tells it to do. It can. You got to train it, though. You got to train your mind. All right, what are our core values? I told you there's 12 of them. I'm going to take you through them quickly, and if anyone has questions, let me know. The first one is urgency. This is a story I'll share with you about the future is now. I worked for a coach at the University of Kansas. I'm from Kansas. I went back to the University of Kansas to help start a program. They were awful when I got there. It was bad. And our defensive coordinator, who's one of my mentors, Bill Young, asked me to do something for him. I was a recruiting coordinator, so I was in the middle watching recruiting film. He said, Dave, I need you to create this report for me. I want to look at it tonight, and I need it pretty quick. I said, yes, sir, I'll get it done. I kept watching my recruiting film. He came back down a couple hours later and said, hey, do you have that report? I said, no, Coach, I don't have it yet, but I'll get it to you. And he said, let me tell you this a different way. He said, what if I told you, if you give me this report, I'd give you $1 million? I said, well, you'd have that damn report pretty fast, Coach. And he said, well, everything I tell you from now on, you need to act that way. That's the urgency I want in your life as a coach that works for me. I said, Coach, I got that visual. It's done. I turned off my recruiting film. I got the job done. I walked down, handed him the report, and then I went back and did my job. And I learned the chain of command right there. I got it. It was a great lesson for me. Okay? But you tell your players that all the time. Hey, we want to be great. Well, that's why we do it one day at a time. Because that's the only measurable thing for them. I can't tell them, hey, in 2 months we're going to do this. No, we got to talk about today to get to 2 months. Focus. Okay? And this goes back to one of our standards where you beat yourself. But there's a lot of time in football, and in basketball probably, where a fatigued player will make mistakes more than a non-fatigued player. He'll have better eye control, better eye discipline when he's not tired. Okay? And so many times in a football game, we call them mental errors. Mental errors occur because of poor eye discipline. Poor eye discipline is because of an unfocused mind. Okay? And so we talk about that focus all the time with our guys. And it's not when you're fresh, it's when you're under duress, when it's 4th and 1, 2 minutes left in the game, down by 3, what's your focus going to be? Compete. And I think this is the biggest thing as a business person, as an American. Man, you got to be a competitor if you're going to make it. You got to compete your ass off in everything you do, not just in the playing field, in the business office, but I compete in everything I do. If I'm playing horse in the driveway, I'm not out there to lose to my son. I'm sorry, I'm not. I'm going to beat his ass in the driveway. If I'm playing anything against my wife, cards, I'm going to try to win. That's just how I am. I hate losing more than I like winning. I mean, that's me. Okay? So you have to be a competitor. You have to love to compete. And that goes back to what we talk about in our identity of playing hard. Faith. And there's lots of types of faith, okay? Obviously, there's your religious faith, what you believe in. And I'm not going to preach to you today, okay? I'm talking about faith in your business plan, all right? For us, it's the game plan. But there's a lot of people on the outside that are going to have better ways to do things that are going to be in the ears of your employees or your players. Oh, if y'all threw the ball more, if you ran the ball, if you blitzed more, if you did this, well, you know what? We're going to do what we believe in. We're going to do it better than everybody else, and you're going to do it right, and we're going to win. Because whatever the plan is, if everybody buys into the plan and competes their ass off, it's a great plan. It is. But there's going to be obstacles in the way, and you're going to have to face them head on, and you can't flinch. You can't all of a sudden lose a football game and change your identity after that. You know what? All this stuff that I just talked to you about, we're not doing it anymore. We lost. No. Here's why it didn't work. We still have the right plan. Here's what we got to do to win. Discipline. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Okay? You have to be a disciplined person to be great. Mentally and physically in our game. We talk about imposing our will. My favorite moment in any football game is when I feel them quit. I love that, man. When you look over at their sideline and their players are down, their coaches are scrambling around, and you're knocking their ass off the football or hitting their quarterback, I love that shit, man. I love it. I do. And that's the moment when you know that you did your job as a coach. It doesn't happen all the time. But when you feel it happening, there isn't a better feeling in the world as a coach. There isn't. Perseverance, or you can call it persistence. When I was 17 years old, I was looking at going into the academies, Air Force Academy, Naval Academy, West Point, and all those types of things. And I had an interview with the Naval Academy with an admiral, and he's all in his, fancy dress uniform, all his different things on, and it's pretty intimidating, 17 years old, sitting in front of a Navy admiral. And I did a pretty good job going through it, and all of a sudden he stops the interview, and he reaches in his drawer and pulls out a big dictionary, throws it across the desk. He's like, there's probably 100,000 words in here. Which one is you? I'm like, you want me to say what one word defines me? He said, yeah, that's what I want to know right now. I said, persistent. I said, no matter what, I'm going to keep going. And since that day, it's hung on my wall, it's in my wallet, but I know who I am. And I think that's the biggest thing that makes me successful. I know who I am. Okay? Whether I make it or don't make it, I know who I am. And I'm going to go down that way or I'm going to go up that way. And I'm not going to apologize for it. I had great parents. I had great grandparents. I worked my ass off to get in the seat I'm in, and I care a hell of a lot about where it goes. And I'm going to be persistent, no matter what. Hard work, G.S.D. Okay? We have a saying at our program, shortcuts lead to dead ends. Okay? Shortcuts lead to dead ends. It's going to be hard to become a champion. It's really hard. There's only one of them. There's only one. It's very, very difficult. And you can't get a shortcut to the championship game. Pride. And I'm not talking about the word pride. It's an acronym for us. Personal responsibility and daily excellence. Again, it goes back to what I talked about a minute ago. Extreme ownership. You did or didn't do your best. Detail. In football, there's 1,000 plays in every game where a guy almost makes a play. He almost finished the block. He almost caught the football. He almost broke up the pass. He almost crossed the goal line. Those details in coaching are inches on the field. Inches on the field equal touchdowns, first downs. No first down, no touchdown. Made field goal, missed field goal. Accountability, big one. We talk about the foxhole mentality for those of us that know what a foxhole looks like, okay? But in a foxhole, you're standing next to a fellow soldier, and you got one side, he's got the other, and you're both holding your rifle, and you do your job or he dies. And that's football. If I got the A-gap as a 3 technique or a Mike linebacker, I'm going to handle the A-gap. The ball is not coming in my gap. Well, if the B-gap player decides he needs to check the A-gap out, the ball's going in the B-gap. We got a problem. And that takes trust on defense. There's 11 guys that have to do their job for a single play to be a successful play. Loyalty, which I talked about at the beginning. You either are or you are not loyal. There's no in between. Last thing, family. Our program is built on that word. And I'm not just talking about our players. We treat them like they're our sons, which means we're hard on them and we love them. But when I got the job, Dr. Yao said to me at the end of the interview, Dave, I would really like for you to be our head coach. What is it going to take? And I said, you know, pay me the way you think I should be paid. I hope that you're going to value me as an employee. But I want my wife and kids and all my coaches' wives and kids to be able to travel to every game. She said, well, I've never heard that before. I said, well, you've never worked with me. And I said, our families are going to be around our players whenever they want. And if you're good with that, then I'm good with the job because I've done my homework. And she allows us to do that. And that's rare. I'm just going to tell you, that does not happen in college football. Okay? I had a ton more to talk about, but I'm being told I'm finished, and I'm good with that. I'm good with that. All right? But I'll leave you guys with this. You know, as a person that cares a lot about Andy and what he's built here, all I would challenge all of you to do in your businesses is be your best. Don't cheat yourself. Don't cheat your family. Don't cheat your boss. Don't cheat your future. How good can you be? Our country needs that. Our children need it. And I go into high schools all the time, and the future of America is a scary business right now. I'm just going to tell you. And for us in this room that are leaders, let's lead. Let's lead, and let's teach the young people how to lead. All right? And let's do it the right way. I hope you guys can come to NC State and see us do our thing. Thank you so much for your time, and go Pack.